Welcome to the unit on possessive pronouns. In the previous unit, you learned all about pronouns, the words that we use to refer to nouns or proper nouns. Well, there are words that are used as adjectives that can look a lot like pronouns, and that's what this unit is about. In the lists of pronouns in that previous unit, if you look, you'll see little asterisks next to some of the words. The pronouns with asterisks can sometimes be used as adjectives. So if the word in question is an adjective, you would already know by now because it would have answered the question which about a noun. Let's look at the example. Jane loaned me her book. Well, if I were to label this according to my process, Jane is a proper noun and book is a noun. Which book? Her book. So I'm going to label her ADJ because it's an adjective. It's modifying book. Then I'm going to look for real pronouns and mark me pronoun, P-R-O, because that's what it is. But now let's take a look at the next sentence. Please give the book to her. Well, book is still a noun. Which book? The book. But now my next step is to find the pronouns, and I see the word her by itself. In that sentence, the word her is a real pronoun, and I'm going to label it P-R-O. Many words that you might think of as pronouns, like my, your, and our, can only be used as adjectives. They look so much like pronouns that people have a tendency to assume that's what they are. But they're only used as an adjective, never as a standalone pronoun. That's why you don't see them listed in the previous unit's notes under personal pronouns. There are some people that call these words possessive pronouns and label them in a special way. I don't advocate that because I think it causes confusion when you're looking at the jobs that pronouns are doing. Those jobs are things that we'll get to later. So in Grammar Planet, we call them adjectives because that's what they're doing. To me, it's much easier to understand grammar if you look at everything by function. And the fact is that in the first sentence, her is functioning as an adjective. It's modifying. And in the second sentence, her is functioning as a pronoun. And that's how we'll treat it. So be aware that when you're on process step 3, you will find and should label ADJ words that look like pronouns. If you identify the possessive pronouns, adjectives as I call them, at that point, then you'll be able to easily find the real pronouns when you move to step 4. Just a little PS here. We did learn last time what an antecedent was, and there are many times when there can still be an antecedent for an adjective, or as some people call it, a possessive pronoun. So just because you see an antecedent doesn't mean it's not an adjective. Let's review our process steps real quick. Read the sentence and make sure you understand it. Find the nouns and label them. Revisit each noun. Ask which about that noun and label anything that answers that question, ART or ADJ. Then look for the real pronouns. It's important in step 3, remember, that you are now going to see words that look very much like pronouns. But if they answer the question which about a noun, that's what they're doing, is modifying the noun, and so you're going to label them an adjective. Then in the next step, if you see something that looks like a pronoun and it has not yet been labeled, that's your indication that that's a real pronoun. All right, get to work.